don't know what just happened.
You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
So I think it just crashed on us, and here we are live.
Oh God. Yeah,
So
we're live because I just got the thing.
all right. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Potsy Network raise you tag team champions of the world.
Whoa,
The
what?
Potsy Tino show. That's right. As always, our theme song is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called the Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. We apologize.
99 Jones.
Speaking of Jones, did you hear when Taz dropped the Jones during Dynamite this week?
He dropped it a bunch of times.
He
Everything
really
was
did.
Jones.
He was like Headlock Jones.
I'm like, I think he's listening to us because we Jones everything now. He's Jones and everything.
Exactly. So, folks, I apologize for our live broadcast happening without us being able to go through our normal on-set video package. Apologies for that. What's up, Michael Turner? Want to let everybody know that Die Hard number 3 is available to order at your local comic shop now. So that was announced today. You can go out and make sure that you have a third issue waiting for you by going into your local comic shop today. Tino, we always start the show with 99 Jones, but we also start the show. Sorry, it's been a couple weeks. I'm thrown off a little bit, but we always start the show with "What's up with you?" So, what's going on with you, my friend?
Still trying to eat my dinner. You got me chewing it. I just wash that down. For those of you guys who don't know, my day job, I do a facilitated class, usually from 6:30 to 8. So we got out a little later, so I'm trying to wolf down my dinner while we're getting ready and shit. Um, what's going on with me? Damn, what's going on with me? Not much, man. It's been last week. We weren't here. It snowed. Nicole had gone out of town last Friday to New York, and it snowed Sunday in New York, and it snowed here Tuesday night. She flew back in Tuesday. I'm like, "Ew, I hope you'll be able to get back in." We got about 2.5 inches here, so I sent my father-in-law. I'm like, you need to go get your daughter because I don't have 4-wheel drive. So he went and picked her up and bought her, so she got home safe. So it was last week. It was just me and Matthew, um, just chilling out, having a good time. Um, went and saw last Sunday. Went and saw Frankie Valley down at DPAC. That was a good show, and I called you. You didn't answer the phone. So what happened is, yeah, what happened is my father-in-law. He got these tickets a while ago. Nicole forgot and booked her New York flight, so I had extra tickets. So I was calling everybody. I tried to call you, you didn't answer. So that's how Jason ended up going. You
I know
muted.
what happened.
Oh, what?
I lost my phone.
Ah,
So you probably called between Friday and Saturday.
mm-hmm.
I lost my phone. Had no way of contacting anybody. And then by the time I got my phone, I saw the picture
Mm-hmm.
of Jason with you at Frankie Valley, and I was like, that son of a bitch.
I tried.
No, it's totally fine. Okay, I gotta ask. The Frankie Valley videos and everything else that I've seen is him at like 90 something years old, just walking out and just
91.
opening his mouth and whatever. But the rest of the show apparently is awesome.
Mm-hmm. He at first they kind of walked out, but as the show went on, I mean, he was doing little dance steps with the guys, and he was moving around and waving and flirting with the ladies. He was still. I was amazed. So we went and saw when he was here 3 years ago too. And in those 3 years, First of all, at 90, 91 years old, they still hit that falsetto that he's hitting. But I did notice that this time around, it was dropped just a key. So it's just a key. It was still high, but it wasn't as high. You know what I mean?
For you, that really means something because
Hmm.
obviously you as a musician, you're
Hmm.
going to totally get that. Whereas
Hmm.
someone like me, I probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, and that's the just older you get. Like even now, I that's why I capo and I have my guitar and everything set is half step down, so it's like a note lower for me to still hit the. I can still, it's still the same note. It still sounds good, but it's not as high that like I used to be able to do.
No reason to throw yourself out.
Yeah, that too, that too,
Yeah.
and he to be like I said 90, 91, and they were on there. That show started at 7. It was a good hour and a half, 2 hours, and he was.
Now, did it seem like it was actually him doing it, or did it seem like they were playing a track and he was lip syncing it?
I was watching now. The only reason I knew that he wasn't is because you can still kind of hear just a little bit the tremble. Like it would have been flawless if he was lip singing. I think one song he might have been, but for the most part, you can hear it. You can hear it. You can tell it was him.
So there was a possibility that there were certain songs where he knew he
Yes,
wasn't going to hit those
yes,
notes.
yes.
And you
And
know what?
he still had, and he played it off a couple of times too because he had his background singers and some of everybody knows those songs. So he did all putting the mic out, let the crowd sing it, and so that crowd participation to cover up a little bit. But he's 90 something years old, dude. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was mad. We had a ball.
You know what's funny about that is that like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith
Hmm.
has been doing that with Dream On for I don't know how long,
Yeah,
right?
because that shit's high. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he started, he was here. Now he's 70, he's here.
Hmm.
And Aerosmith fans do not give a fuck.
They will scream at the top of their lungs.
Damn right. And they'll probably make their kids actually hit those notes.
That's just like even when I do my show now, we do "Living on a Prayer." I'm not hitting that shit. I go sing it and make them yell it, and that "Living on a Prayer," and they love that. They'll oh, you know, and that saves my voice. I gotta do it.
I do want to point out though that Tino does not let me sing at his shows anymore.
No, mm-mm, no, that's not happening.
So all right, so you went to Frankie Valley and it was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and that was about it. And then back to work. So, they had to Wake County schools were closed just about all damn week last week. So they were closed Monday for MLK Day. Tuesday was a teacher work day. Then Wednesday and Thursday had snow days. And then they were 2 hour delay on Friday. I'm like, damn, y'all had a nice little break.
Yeah, like North Carolina, it's always kind of been like that. Like,
Hmm. And
uh,
New York, though, they be going to school in this.
yeah.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm writing another topic on here
Oh,
for us because I just remembered one that needs to be talked about,
hmm.
and uh, and it really needs to be talked about because I think it's really important. But it also leads into a secondary topic that
Cool. Okay.
that we can possibly talk about here. Obviously, tonight we're going to sit there. We're going to break down the two Royal Rumble matches. We're going to break down the Royal Rumble PLE by itself. We're probably going to talk about Saturday Night's main event,
Oh,
which
yes.
which was solid, but ran into the same problem that WWE has run into with that program in the past.
No titles changed hands either. I was pissed.
That's the problem I'm talking about.
And they were saying that the Raw ratings on Netflix are down.
Up, 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 up.
I
I
was
don't
like,
want
oh
to talk
my,
about that just yet because
okay, okay.
all I'll say is this: if you look at the screen right now, that's something I want to talk about. But before we get there, this Saturday night, you'll be over here. We'll be watching the Royal Rumble, and tonight we're going to give our predictions. This is the way I want to do the predictions tonight, okay? I want to do per Royal Rumble match, so women's and men's, and we've got our special guest in our green room already tonight. So hopefully he doesn't mind waiting a little bit. But our predictions for the Royal Rumble when we get to that tonight, we're gonna do 2 special people that we think can show up.
Okay.
And the winner of both the men's and women's. And then we'll also do the other. I've only seen 2 matches that are officially announced. It's Cody versus KO and DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. So we'll
Rhea and Nia.
Oh no, that happened on Saturday Night.
You're right.
So I only know of 2 other matches on top of the Royal Rumbles. Now, that obviously could change Monday night, Friday night, even Tuesday night. That could change. But we're gonna sit there. What's up, Mr. Helios? We do have a special guest in the audience tonight. We're gonna bring him on because he's one of our favorite local wrestlers. It's our friend Sean Cruz. Though he seems to have a little bit of an attitude change since the last time we had him on here, Tino. Not gonna lie, just gonna sit there and say that. But before we get to him, I do want to go ahead because it's what's up with us. You already mentioned what's going on with you. What's up with me right now? Still looking for a day job. Got some irons in the fire there, but Die Hard number 3 now available to order at your local comic shop, or you can just order it yourself. If you come through me, you can get it no matter what. But Die Hard number 3 now available for order, and I might as well just go ahead and drop this right here, right now. Dread Mutt, the very first Dread Mutt book. Don't know how many pages it's going to be. Don't know how long it's going to be. Whatever the case is, June 25, that book comes out.
Nice.
Finished my cover for it yesterday, so that goes to solicitation next week. Really excited. I went with a Frank Miller-esque style cover again, like I like to do because he's probably my favorite artist of all time. But we got that going on. Obviously, we got some other TV shows that we can talk about in a little bit. But before we do that, how about we bring on our special guest, 100% Sean Cruz.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Mr. Cruz?
Oh, man. It's another great day to be Sean Cruz.
Now, Sean, I see that you have this awesome new apparel. Now I never really actually saw the Potsy designed apparel that you have, but that's okay because I even sent you some new designs today. But you got this new one that says "Keep Staring." What's this all about?
Well, as far as the first thing you mentioned, the Potsy design, yes, there are those T-shirts, and I believe you have one actually.
I do, and I wear it frequently.
Good, you should. You should wear anything with my name on it, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they keep staring, man. So like, just being straight up, like I'm just over it. I'm tired of every time I go to a show and like people just stare at me like I got 3 heads. Like they don't boo you, they don't cheer you, they don't walk up to you and shake your hand. Or if they do come over to your table, they just run their mouths, and they don't buy anything. and they don't help support you. They pat you on the back and say, "Hey, man, great job." No, just get that out of here. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all the, brother handshake stuff and all the glad handing and like I said, the pats on the back that lead to absolutely nothing. It's like, a long time ago, well, I said not a long time ago, for a long time, I used to expect myself and other people. And by that, I mean, if I would treat you a certain way, I expected you to treat me that way. I wasn't doing it so you treat me that way. But if I was nice and I reached out and said, "Hey, man, there's a booking coming up," or "Hey, you want to jump in the car and ride with me to check out this new place," or whatever, then I would expect the same in return. But do you think I have? Do you think all my friends have looked out for me? Absolutely not. Because I learned one single human fact about all humans. You guys can argue if you want to, but if you're lying to yourself, if you do, humans are innately selfish creatures. They have their own agendas and they're self-serving, period. And I'm tired of acting like they're not. And guess what? What's the old saying? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So that's where we're at this year. Finally, I'm going to start looking out for me. I'm done helping people. I'm done getting people opportunities. I'm done with all that.
So Sean,
yeah,
no, absolutely. You have a grand opportunity this weekend at a battle royal where you get the championship opportunity of your choice if you win this battle royal. And I'm saying right now,
whoa.
That's where I was going to go. My dude right here on our screen, Sean Cruz, I anticipate, expect, and am calling it right now. You are going to win this match, and you are going to get that opportunity so that instead of sitting there and backing up all your friends and everything else that have actually dogged you throughout your entire career to this point, you're going to have that opportunity to end up being the champion after this battle royal.
Absolutely. I mean, it's tailor-made. It's perfect for me. Yeah, and there's some talented guys in that company at Wrestling with Purpose, and there's going to be talented guys in that Rumble, but it's not going to matter because I'm telling you, like, I have a chip on my shoulder. Normally, it's grown to the size of like a 2x4 or a piece of plywood now. And I'm daring anybody watching this that laces up a pair of boots and calls yourself a professional wrestler, whatever state you're in, whatever company you're in, I don't care how long you've been doing this, come knock it off my shoulder. I'm not playing. This ain't a gimmick. This ain't, trying to hype up a show. This is me being straight up serious. There's not a person on this planet that calls himself a pro wrestler that I can't go toe to toe with. And if you think that I can't, please prove me wrong. Get the match.
And we've obviously seen you in a bunch of these matches in the past where you have gone toe to toe with the top guys. And it's time that my boy Sean Cruz finally gets his comeuppance and finally gets to be that top guy in this division.
Yeah, 100% it is, and not just because of who the booker is or who the promoter is, because I earned it. That's what I'm earning my spots. Nobody's handed me anything in my entire career. Everything I've had to earn, all the respect that I've earned and that I've lost, because I've made mistakes. I've shot myself in the foot, and I'll be the first to admit it. And that's a lot of the reason why people don't associate with me. And that's fine. That's fine. If you want to keep judging me off my past and how I used to be and all the mistakes I made, you go right ahead. Because you're going to miss. You're going to miss the train. You're going to miss the boat, whatever you want to call it. This year is going to be my year. And I know everybody says that. Everybody runs their mouth, 2025, new year, new me. No, new year, real me. And it's going to piss a lot of people off. And you know what? I don't give a damn. about anybody that it pisses off, because I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me. You don't like me for personal reasons, whatever. I'm going to make it impossible for you to not have me on your show. That's the goal. That's the goal. I want to be able to walk up to these people that won't give me the time of day and take their money after I go on and do what I do best and perform in that ring and put butts in their seats. That's what I want. That is the ultimate revenge, whatever you want to call it. That's what I want this year.
Tino typically gets on my case for sitting there and running my mouth and talking junk and talking shit and everything else. And the fact of the matter is that, like, when you got enough to back it up, it doesn't matter if you're sitting there running your mouth. It doesn't matter if you're talking shit. The fact is, if you can back it up, you're the man. Like, now granted, Ric Flair always said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. We all know that. We're all in North Carolina. We get to say that. But honestly, when it comes down to it, like what is different with Sean Cruz this year, where he's wearing that keep staring shirt? Why are we staring this year when we weren't necessarily staring before?
Because I'm going to show you everything everyone's always said. Oh, you've got potential. Oh, you're a good hand. You know, I get that all the time. Oh yeah, book Sean. He'll put your guys over. He'll make you guys look good. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not going to be the guy that keeps making the young guys look good, or, you know, gives them their experience. I want the best. I want names, man. I'm telling you right now, in my career, the one thing I haven't done is work with a lot of what we call names. You know, guys like Heath Miller, Slater, whatever he's calling himself these days. Guys like Rhett Titus, George South, Ricky Morton, you name them. Ex-WWE guys, current TNA guys, current AEW guys. That's what I want. That's what no one ever gives me. And I don't know if it's because they don't trust me with them. They're afraid I'm going to hurt them, which is ridiculous, because in my entire career, I ain't never hurt anybody. I've never injured anybody. I've never put anybody on the shelf. I've been injured. And that's another thing. When I blew my knee out and I was out of the business, I thought I was done for good. Well, sorry, to start with, it was supposed to be about a year. And then about 6 months into it, after all the phone calls stopped, after all the Facebook messages stopped, of course, there was the initial, oh, man, this is terrible, brother, you know, heal up and all that. But I'm telling you, out of sight is out of mind. And I remember that, and I don't forget that. I don't forget those people that turned their backs on me every time that I had to step away from the wrestling business, or I chose to step away for personal reasons. I don't forget that. And now, some of those same people now are just like, hey, good to see you, bro. Get the out of here. Like, get out of my face with that. And that's another thing, too. If you don't like me for whatever reason, and this is a straight shoot, whatever you want to call it, you don't have to shake my hand. You don't have to tell me, hey. Like, I know it's a respect thing, and that's great. But if I would respect you more for being real than to do something just because, oh, I better shake his hand because people are going to say I don't respect the wrestling business. That stuff's in the past, man. Like, you go to your regular job, or, you know, any job. You work at McDonald's or something. You think you're going to like and get along with everybody you work with? You're going to go to work every day and shake everybody's hand and hug everybody. Oh, brother, it's good to see you every single day. No, absolutely not. So why do we have to do it? Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any issues or heat with anybody. And if they feel like that we do have some kind of issue, my inbox is always open. If you're important enough for us to have issues, you've probably got my phone number. And I post where I'm going to be at all my shows. Come find me.
So Tino, you got anything to keep staring Sean Cruz about?
Everything he's saying is facts. It's truth.
Thank you.
It's truth.
You ain't gotta like it. You ain't gotta agree with it, but it's the truth. You can't deny it. You know.
And he'll tell you that's the way I look at life too. If you don't like me, my son will still come up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I got no arguments. I thought I was. I thought I was going to have something, but I don't. This man is spitting facts.
It's always funny to me because Tino, before we got on here, sat there and said to me, he goes, y'all try to get me hot tonight.
Because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect, man. But he came on here. He came on here spitting facts. I had no arguments. Hey.
So Sean, you got some great stuff coming up. You literally have a battle royal this weekend coming up on February 1st. Forget that other battle royal that's coming up on the big guy show. There's a battle royal coming up, and like I said, the winner of that gets a championship opportunity of their choice. Now I know Hang Time is in that match, and I've met Hang Time. I never had a good time with him. You know that you and I sat there, tried to make sure that my dude was going to win the championship the night that we were both in the same building. So you obviously have some people that you're going to be facing here. You've faced them before. Tell me what you got in store. Tell me what you got planned, and tell me how you are going to win this battle royal. And then, if you can, give us an update about what else is going on in February for you, sir.
Well, first of all, you mentioned Hang Time, and I guess if I got a Joker to my Batman, it would have to be him. He's a guy that he actually started training me 20-something odd years ago, almost 24 years ago. And we've had our issues well documented over the last 20-something years. I have a lot of respect for him professionally, and I hope he feels the same way. But friends, not friends, whatever you want to call it, when we hit that ring and that bell rings, all that's out the window. And he knows, he's taught me a lot of the ruthless stuff that I know. So he probably knows me better than anybody else that's going to be in that ring. Then you got Trip Cautious, who's recently taken a turn and joined Team Pitbull. You know, Trip was white meat babyface guy, and he turned his back on the fans. He finally got smart and stopped worrying about what all those stupid, moronic, high-calorie humans shows, you know, and sit back like this, like impress me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the next person I see come to a wrestling show and sits back like this, I'm going to impress them. And don't be on your phones either. Don't be doing this mess right here, because I'll come slap it out of your hand. Like, I'm telling y'all, I'm done. I'm not playing. I'm done with the disrespect. I'm done with the lack of opportunities. I'm done with all of it. I'm done. I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind and to do the things that need to be done to win. And that's the main reason that I'm going to win this Saturday, because I'll do whatever it takes. Nobody wants this more than I do. You know, my theme song, the No Love that I had Mikey Ruckus do for me from AEW, the lyrics are, when you look in my eyes, you'll see there's no love for you. That's what this keep staring thing is. Look into my eyes. When I come out there and you're looking at me and you don't know whether to boo or whether to cheer, stare me right dead in my eyes. And I'm going to look right into your soul. And I'm going to show you what intensity looks like. I'm going to show you what determination looks like. And I'm going to show you what a winner looks like. Period. So good luck. They're all going to need it. Saturday, I'm going to win that run. No matter what it takes. I don't care if it's Hang Time, Trip Cautious, Trey Walker, Aaron CK, Dre White, whoever it is. They're all going over the top rope, one after the other, after the other. My personal goal is to throw every damn single one of them out myself. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to run and hide like somebody else was just talking about on another TV show and survive. No. I'm there. I want to be number one. I want to go number one and win the whole damn thing. And then I want somebody to say something. Then I want to hear what the internet wrestling community has to say about the way I won.
I mean, I gotta be real with you. I always hate when people sit there and talk about the Royal Rumble and sit there and tell me that they threw 29 other guys over the top rope. Well, we know they only threw 3 or 4 guys over, and they just happened to outlast the last 4 or 5 guys. I get exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, you know what that reminds me of? just another thing that irritates me. This is another sport, but football, whether it's college, professional, whatever. You got a defensive back on a wide receiver, one-on-one. That receiver burns that DB by 10 yards. Quarterback overthrows the ball. What does the DB do when the ball hits the ground? Like, yeah, that's right, incomplete pass. You did nothing. You did absolutely nothing.
You and I could sit there and probably,
and they made a mistake, and you got lucky.
We could probably
You should be doing this number
entire
and looking up to
conversation.
God and saying, "I'm glad he didn't catch that ball because I would have looked stupid." But no, you got to do this bullshit. Like,
My favorite one there, though, Sean, is when you're already down 24 points or whatever, and you finally make a stop, and then the DB's like, "Oh," and you're like, "The fuck are you doing? Like, you're still down 24." Shut the fuck
not
up.
to get too far into football, but that was my main problem with Cam Newton. Panthers fan. We'd be down by 3 touchdowns. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. He gets a first down and he's doing this bullshit. What are you celebrating?
You know what my main problem with Cam Newton is now? Is the fact that he looks like Melania Trump when he's wearing that hat on fucking like first take. Like that.
Damn.
Like he literally looks like a character out of fucking like either Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Mortal Kombat, and I can't figure out which one it is.
He's got to do something to stay relevant, though. He's got to do something to stay relevant. Like, keep talking about all the other quarterbacks and how he's better than all the backups and all this stuff. They're playing football. They might be sitting on the bench. They're playing football. You're sitting there talking about it.
So you're saying his hat is worth more than those backup quarterbacks in the NFL?
Probably, yeah. But yeah, that's enough about Scam Newton and
Scam Newton. I love it.
The only real sport that matters is professional wrestling. Period. And yes, I'm going to call it a sport. I don't give a damn. NASCAR can be a sport. Golf can be a sport. Professional wrestling is a sport.
Oh, brother, you are an athlete. We can see that just looking at you. I mean, like you have so obviously, typically, Tino and I want to move on to the other stuff and everything else. But while we got you on, I want to talk to you about like how you keep in shape, what you're doing. You mentioned an injury that you had. How did you rehab that? How did you get yourself back in? Because I mean, like you and me, we keep up with each other pretty good, but like obviously, like.
So, what did you do to your knee?
So I tore my ACL, my MCL back in 2017, 2018, something along those lines.
That's what I did. I tore the MCL, the meniscus, MCL, ACL. So, and I know coming back. So, did you have the ACL surgery? Because my doctor said some people can go without the surgery. You just can't, as long as it doesn't hurt you.
Mine was complete. Like, it was completely gone. Like, if I tried to stand up, it would I collapsed.
Yeah.
I actually did it. I was in the ring, going over some, working through some stuff before the match when I tore it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we went out for the match. I just braced it up, wrapped it up, and tried to do it. I made it maybe 2 minutes into the match. It popped out again, and luckily it was a tag match. So I just rolled out, went to my table, and my
we're kayfabing a bit here. We're kayfabing a bit, but
right. But yeah, my partner stayed and finished the match, thankfully. And
how did you?
I was 30. I think I was 37 or 38 at the time, and I've been doing this since I was 19. And I, just had a kid. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is it. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is where everything ends. Because I always knew I'd never stop, just walk away on my own. Because I always felt like I could give more. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's what this year's about. Is to prove not only to everybody else, but to myself that what I've got left to give to this business. I've ran into guys the last year on shows, not worked them because nobody puts me with these names for some reason. But I've talked to plenty of these guys and picked their brains and told them how I feel and my frustrations. And they all agree with me. They're all 100% dead. I had a 3-hour conversation with Jerry Lynn, from ECW, who's still, to me, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time.
Yes.
One of the best brains.
So him and Rob
one
Van
of the
Dam,
best brains.
dude, he is a genius. And I literally talked to him for 3 hours, and everything I said, he was like, "You're absolutely right." He even said, "I wish there was more guys with your kind of mind in the business still."
Can I ask you, Sean, like when you talk to those guys, is there a specific thing that they say you're not doing?
Yeah,
No,
no, so
I
that
mean, no.
you
It's
haven't
like
made that next level.
It's crazy, man. Man. Let's just be honest. I'm 40. I'll be 44 this year. I'm not getting a contract. I get that. I'm not mad about that. But that doesn't mean that I can't go out there and hang with these guys and still. I'm not playing wrestler, okay? I'm not cosplaying. I'm not doing what 90% of the guys on the indies do. Period.
But I think it goes back to what you said. You still have something to give to the business. Like, yeah, you're 44, but why can't you go to an AEW or WWE
Oh,
and
it's
be a
possible.
trainer or be a producer or something like that?
Possibly, yeah. I mean,
Well, I
possibly.
mean, even before that, though, Diamond Dallas Page was 39 before he finally made his big break. You know, and I'm not saying you're 39 anymore, but I have seen people on the top shows not being able to do what I've seen you do, and you're doing it in front of 50, 75 people. And by the way, I'm going to tell you right now, those 50 or 75 people are more invested and more interested in what you are doing than when you see 1,250 people at an AEW show sitting there watching something that they have no idea really what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm tired of wrestling in front of 50 and 75 people. I think in 2025, if you run a wrestling promotion and you can't draw no more than that, you need to re-look at your business model or something. There's too many promoters that don't treat this sport as a business, because it is. It's a sport to me because I'm a professional athlete. But to them, it should be a business, and it should be treated as such. Meaning you should put people in the ring that belong there. You should put people in the ring that don't look like people sitting in the crowd. Period. And I will say that till the day I die. And people will come back with, well, what about this one? And what about Darby Allin? And what about Mick Foley? And what? Okay, yes, there are exceptions to the rule. But the 90-pound kid that works during the week bagging groceries at the local Piggly Wiggly is not Darby Allin. And he probably never will be.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think we all agree that we don't necessarily look at Darby Allin as an athlete, but he is
he's
like you said, he's the exception.
Smaller than most guys, but he has that thing. He has that niche. You know what I'm saying? He has that the Daredevil, Jeff Hardy. That's his thing.
And you do have the exception. Like Rob will tell you, my favorite all-time wrestler, Dusty Rhodes. He wasn't the most muscular guy, but he had the charisma.
Right.
And he
was not, but I'll tell you this. Look at the other guys back in those days. Look at Flair. Look at Arn Anderson. They weren't exactly Adonises themselves. I mean, they were big guys, but it was that big, masculine, hairy chest, the way a man was supposed to look back then. You didn't have guys like a Logan Paul with like 8-packs and stuff back then. But Steamboat, I think, was probably the only one.
Yeah, Steamboat. Yeah, and then you get
at times Flair was in pretty decent shape. But, Flair was Flair. So he had his lifestyle, and I guess his stuff fluctuated. Yeah. They were big guys. The main thing is this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a guy named Chris Silvio. He actually trained at OVW, Rip Rogers, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in NWA. He does stuff with them. But if you don't follow him on Facebook, check him out. He's awesome. He runs a school in Florida called the Death Proof Dojo. Mm-hmm. And I'm dying to get down there and just do some training with him. But every once in a while, he does live Q&As and stuff like that. And he'll put little pop quizzes up on his Facebook. So he's just a real good guy. And his whole thing is, and I agree, you've got to at least look like you can win a fight.
Yes.
You've got all those guys, Arn, Tully, Dusty, all those guys look like they can win fights. And they can. A lot of them were legit badasses. Now, I promise you, in every locker room, there might be one or two guys that you could call a legit badass. and the rest of them aren't. Most
They're
of them
they're
probably haven't
they're,
even
they're
been
extinct.
no,
It's
and most of them
extinct.
haven't even been in fights before.
Nope.
It blows my mind, like where the business is now as opposed to where it was. Even when I but and now listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those old school's the best brother and all this new stuff is crap. I'm not that guy because I think you can do both. I think you can tell a story, use psychology, but also make it exciting.
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt, there's always the opportunity to sit there and show the new cats what was, like the storytelling or the
And I want to,
We have a question.
and let me suspend my disbelief. Let me believe that you can rip that this is really going on, right?
Exactly.
Let me
That's the
believe.
biggest thing.
If I can see it's fake, or if I can see dad doesn't look right, that takes me out of it, right?
And there's so many guys that nowadays don't get that. Like they're more concerned with these complicated, convoluted
Thank you.
spots. And
Thank you.
listen, if you can pull them off, fantastic. Will Ospreay and Ricochet and some of those guys, it's amazing. But these indie cats are not those guys, right? And if you blow that one spot, like you said, it takes the whole illusion of everything out.
Yep.
And God, you just don't get that.
No, you're
really
100% correct, Sean. You're 100% correct, and I think that's why Tino, who grew up watching the NWA and WCW, and myself growing up watching WWE up in the north, like we still have that real need for like the storytelling aspects of it, and it all goes back like when you see a guy like AJ Styles get into the ring, and Michael Turner out there asked you who right now in WWE, TNA, or AEW or anywhere that you keep an eye on because they just showed you what pro wrestling is all about. Like AJ Styles to me is one of those guys. I think Seth Rollins is one of those guys, although Seth Rollins still seems to be more new school with the flippy floppy all the time. And then every so often has a match that you're just like last week against Drew McIntyre has that match where you're like, oh shit, those guys just went and put each other over, put something special together. And yet, like, it didn't really mean anything because neither one of them was champion or anything else in that situation. But so I'm gonna let you answer Michael Turner's question of who you feel is someone that you watch that people should watch. And you know what? I'm gonna put this out there where it says anywhere. If they are not currently on the TV scene, I want to know about them so that way, like you, because I'm telling everybody right now, my boy Sean Cruz, I've seen him go in the ring. The dude can go. He can go 35 minutes. He can sit there and put on a clinic. And it doesn't matter who he goes against. Doesn't matter if it's Malachi Black. Doesn't matter if it's Heath, whatever Heath's last name is right now. I don't care if he's got kids.
He's got kids.
I don't care if he's got kids. I don't care if George South has grandbabies, because I heard him sit there and say that to me.
Yes, he does, and he'll tell everybody.
My point is I want to know who you, because I already know that you are one of those guys that we should be looking at, and that's why we had you on the show tonight. And by the way, we still got to get to what you're doing for February.
Sure.
But who do you look at? And like I said, it doesn't have to be WWE or TNA. I mean, there's obviously people there.
Well, I'd be curious to see who he because he says, it is. He's right. You're a performer. You're a wrestler, not a sports entertainer. So when you look into these, we can say anywhere in these two, but on the TV, who has that realism to you? You know what I mean? Like we were just talking about.
You already talked about Seth, obviously. I'm a big fan of Seth. Cody, of course, everybody. Cody Rhodes is Cody Rhodes. I mean, let's just be honest. The emotional storytelling they've been doing, especially with him and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is another one, I'll be honest, that really opened my eyes lately. Because he's one of those guys that, like, he's a bigger guy and he wears the shirt and all that. But once again, like, that's another thing, too. I don't think you should wrestle in a shirt. If you can't get in good enough shape to take your shirt off and be comfortable in front of people, I don't feel you belong in a wrestling ring. Now, once again, exceptions. Even Dusty did it.
Dusty took his shirt off.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole point.
He probably shouldn't have.
I don't think Dusty realized he could have worn a shirt. But to your point there, I think that there's always a place for that one guy that doesn't have to do it the way that everybody else does. So Mick Foley wore a shirt. Kevin Owens can be that guy that wears the shirt when no one else does. But continue, Sean, please.
Well, see, Owens also uses as a gimmick. Like when he did the whole son of a computer sells whatever it was, ripping off the Cody sucks eggs. Like, I mean, if you're going to have it, use it.
Cody sucked eggs.
Then he wore, what's her name?
Naomi's shirt. That was funny.
That was great. Like, I'm not going to lie. That was great. But yeah, in WWE, I think it's all those guys.
He realizes he's a billboard.
Yeah, Jay Uso is starting to kind of warm up to him. But I got to be honest, I really thought him and Gunther's match was going to be better. Yeah. I don't know what about it that just threw me off. No, I'll tell you what, WWE, I think, well, right now, I mean, I don't know if you saw the heat that Logan Paul got earlier. But that was insane. Logan Paul popped up tonight, and he couldn't even talk. They were so loud, like louder than Dominic.
Nice.
So that, to me, right there is like, okay, watch this guy. Plus, he is athletic, and he's a full-time wrestler now. I think you're definitely going to keep an eye on him. But if I got to think overall, WWE, it's got to be Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is like the most underrated guy. He can pull emotion. He can do comedy. He can sell his ass off for you. His offense looks real. Everything about him is, I think, what a wrestler should be.
Now, in the same vein, I think that when he first came up through NXT, everybody thought he was just going to be a white meat babyface the entire time that he was going through everything. And when he finally got to the main roster, Vince McMahon sat there and said, "I'm going to make him a heel." And I don't know if we're allowed to talk about the old man anymore, but
I'll talk about whatever. I'll talk about Chris Benoit. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I'll say that about this. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, and nobody else was either. Everybody, all they have is opinions. And we live in a world now where if your opinion doesn't line up with somebody else's, you're the problem. You make me the fucking problem. Ostracize me. You're not going to stop me from doing anything I want to do in life.
I'm going to keep staring. I'm going to keep staring.
That's what I'm saying. Keep staring. And, you know, and the big thing, too, just touching on the keep staring again, is one of my biggest pet peeves, and it's probably going to sound like whining and bitching, and I don't care because it's not, but there's so many people that I know for a fact keep up with my stuff. They'll see me at shows and be like, man, this is great. That match was great. This dude, whatever's great. But they don't react to your shit. They don't like it. They don't comment on it. They don't share it. It's like they're just staring at their phone. They just stare at my page. They just stare. They want to keep up. And you know the main reason why that is? And I don't care if it could be your closest friend in the business. People want to see you do good, but they don't want to see you do better than them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they think they can hook to your coattails and ride your wave to the top. Then they're going to surround you and make your little groups and your little cliques and that kind of stuff.
Brother, I can tell you right now, I 100% agree with you.
And that's any industry. That's not just the sport of wrestling. That's any industry.
I'm even going to go ahead and sit here today and say that I was playing around with logo ideas today, and I sent you some. Said use them if you want to. Don't use them if you don't. You know, you sat there, sent the thumbs up, sent the love, whatever. if you don't use them, no big deal. I'm sitting there going, I want to help my dude get some good merch out there so that he can sit there and make the money that he needs to make this the career that he's always wanted to be. At the same time, I absolutely agree, because obviously me coming from the comic book industry, and even Tino from the music industry, he knows that there are people out there that sit there and go, hey man, I caught your last show, I thought it was great, but they never sat there when he put the music up or put the video up or anything, never sat there and gave it just the thumbs up, you know?
Nope.
Nothing.
And for me, I sat there and realized, okay, my Facebook page, I'll straight up, I'll tell everybody right now, it's monetized. My Facebook page is monetized, which means if I get enough people to sit there and just like, say hi, and say hello, whatever, I make money. I absolutely understand it. I agree with it. I sit there and think that it's the right thing to do. Hell, my Instagram account now, anytime I post a reel that posts with music from a band that is like out there, they get a portion of anything I make off of it.
Wow.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know, and hell, one time I used AC/DC and it said the band associated with this reel will get a portion of it. I don't care. I don't care if they get 90% of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're bigger than me. They deserve 90% of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
They've earned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
well, I mean, and staying in that same vein of people not really supporting you, what really opened my eyes on that was when I did have my knee injury. My partner and I just got brand new T-shirts made. We probably sold one or two. I had a ton of them left. I don't believe in GoFundMes. I don't believe in begging people for money, especially when I'm capable enough to be working on my own. You know what I mean? I've got my own avenues. There's things I can do to make money if I have to. You know, there's these indie wrestlers out there that drive their little beat up Pinto cars or whatever. They're about to fall apart anyway. And then when a part goes down and they can't afford to make their towns to wrestle, they post up a GoFundMe to get fans to pay for your car to get fixed. Like, to me, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Or maybe I just haven't connected with fans in that same way to where they'd be willing to do that. But I will say this. All I did was put up, we had shirts for sale for $25. And just share the post. Buy a shirt if you want to support me. Not one single person that I've known from the 24 years of my in the professional wrestling business, not one. Not my supposed best friends, my homies, nobody bought a shirt or even shared the fucking post. And that's when I really realized that people are self-serving. That it's once you either are out of the way and you're not part of whatever the thing is anymore, you're done. Or if you make a mistake and you say the wrong thing or you do the wrong thing and become a problem, then, oh, we can't touch you. We can't have nothing to do with you. But they won't tell you that. Just like you'll have promoters drop you for no reason. Stop booking you, won't message you. If you message them, leave your messages on red. My whole thing is this. If you don't want to use me on your show when I thought everything was fine, or because of something supposedly you heard that I said or did, just be man or woman or whatever enough to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Help me grow as a person. Help me learn from my mistakes. What did I do wrong? Why don't you want me to tell you? It's fine. I'm not begging for a spot. I ain't begging for friendship. I ain't begging for nothing. I got everything I need. But it's just nice to know. Like, why not? Why did you reject me? You know, I don't know. It's, like I said, there's a lot of frustrations with the business, and it's hard to keep it fun sometimes. You know. But that's my main goal with the time I have left, and we don't know how much longer that is. Like I said, 44 this year. So I'm just going to have as much fun with it as I can, but at the same time, I take it seriously, and I do the things that you should do to be a professional, whether it's a wrestler, whether it's a musician, whether it's whatever. I do those things for my industry, which to me is an aesthetic business. Cody Rhodes even said it about the whole fat shaming thing and all that. Please fat shame me. Like, let me know where I need to improve so I can look more aesthetic and I can make more money. Like, please.
Well, Sean, I'll say this right now. I don't normally sit there and talk about men without their shirts on, but you already have a better aesthetic than either of us, whether Tino wants to admit it or not. But but at the same time, you know,
I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be. But a couple years ago, I was in the best shape I've been in my entire life, and I was on that trajectory. I was really starting to get my name out there, get bigger shows, get respect, get eyeballs on me. And then I decided to walk away from the business at my highest point because I thought that it was going to help me save my family. It was going to help me save the marriage I was in at the time. And I was wrong. I was wrong because it lasted another month. And after that, it was done and has been done, thankfully, for a year and a half almost now, something like that. I've lost track. Well, I've got a woman now that
you're in a better position, yeah.
And I'm in the best position I've been in my entire life. And even if tomorrow wrestling just disappeared and was gone, I will still live a happy, fulfilled life because of that. And I think that's the most important thing. I love professional wrestling, but I finally found something that I love more than professional wrestling. You know, and it also, you know, is amazing that she makes my gear. She makes T-shirts. I mean, she makes gear for everybody. We even got a Facebook site keeping tabs on it. So it's just it's so crazy how when the right pieces come together, it just fits and it works. You know, it's like you don't even have to try. Like I've heard for years and years and years, marriages and relationships are supposed to be all this work and you got to give and take all this. But I'm telling y'all right now, we don't argue. We don't fight. We don't. We sit and we talk like two grown adults and discuss things, and it's amazing. It's the most important thing to me. You know, she would never ask me to choose between her and wrestling, but if she did, it would be a no-brainer. So
Tino, what other questions do you have for Sean?
We went through them. Like, wow.
So here's my question for you, Sean.
Yes, sir.
I know you have your entire lineup for February. And I know it starts February 1st with that Battle Royal. What else you got planned? And let me ask you, what is your ultimate goal by the end of 2025? Because if you want, you have an open invitation to come back to the show anytime you want to sit there and give us updates. But what is your ultimate goal for 2025? And if it includes me coming out and having to cut some heel promos for you, you know I don't mind.
There's always a possibility, man. That's the one thing I've learned about with professional wrestling. Never say never. You know, there's people that you thought you'd never be cool with, or you'd never have friends to be friends with. You are. There's people you thought you'd stay cool with forever, and you never speak again. You know, there's promotions you thought you'd never work at that you get a chance to. So, but to start at the beginning, so yes, February 1st, this Saturday in Laurinburg, North Carolina at Scotland High School, we're doing Wrestling with Purpose, which is a really good organization. They do just basically benefit shows to help out with people with like brain cancer, like heart problems. It's amazing. It's a great company. They should get a lot more recognition than they do. This is the first time, I don't know if it's the first time they've been to Laurinburg, but I know I've never wrestled for them in Laurinburg, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully we have a really, really good turnout with the other big show happening that night. Yeah, we'll see, because you know how people are. But now that you got your phones, you can be peacocking it while you're at the indie show. So that's what I would do.
You said you're going to slap the phones out their hands. So.
Well, yeah. You were listening. Well, I'll ask them first. Like, what are you watching? I'll just tell them, hey, I'll just get a mic and I'll say, look, let me watch my match. And after my match, you can peacock it all you want.
Watch the replay.
Yeah, because I don't care about anybody else's match. You can like I've said, all these, like, they've got, so like Heath's going to be there, Baby Doll's going to be there, of course George is
Wow.
going to be there, and that's great. Like they've all earned their spots. They're all legends.
Big
And
game.
come to see them. Please come to see them if that's what brings you into the arena. But I'm telling you right now, you're going to leave talking about me. That's it. That's the goal. Every show I'm on, I'm not trying to steal the show. I'm here to steal the moments, because that's all professional wrestling is moments. It's Foley getting thrown off of a cage. It's Flair winning his first title. It's Hogan Andre, WrestleMania 3. It's Shawn Brett, WrestleMania 12. Like, that's all wrestling is. That's when you do all these crazy spots and everything in the matches, that's great. Like, I could watch the Will Ospreay Ricochet match, watch it, and be like, this is amazing while I'm watching it. The next day, I couldn't tell you one thing they did. But if Steve Austin pops up on Raw after he's not supposed to be there because he was suspended, and you hear that glass break, or we talked about that all day the next day at school. You know what I mean? That is what professional wrestling is. It's moments. I'm getting off track. I tend to do that.
No.
So anyways, yeah, February 1st, that's where it all starts. That's where we'll call it my crusade, if you want to. I'm kicking it off February 1st, Wrestling Purpose. February 7th, which is a Friday, I'm going to be in Southern Pines, North Carolina for Firestar Pro Wrestling, which is just, I can't say enough good things about what LeBron Cozone has done over there at Firestar from the very beginning. I've seen it from the beginning grow to where it is now. Of course, you've had Javon Evans come through there. Incredible. Jackson Drake's already been ID'd, so he's probably next. Just an amazing group of guys over there, man. But they're doing a show at a bar. I can't remember where it is right off the top of my head, but it's a joint show with ACW out of Southern Pines. It's like Beer and Brain Busters, I believe.
If you just let us know, we can make sure that we mention it next week.
Okay, yeah, I'll shoot you the poster because hey, I'm on that one. Not on the one February 1st, but I don't. Whatever, that's fine. So that one's going to be good. And then the 15th, I am making my Alpha Underground debut in Burlington, North Carolina. That is going to be a lot of fun. And they haven't. I've heard who my opponent is, but I ain't giving it away yet because it's not been announced. But this is a young man that has all the potential in the world to be a huge star in this business. He's athletic. He's young. He works out. He's got all the right tools.
Now where is that supposed to be?
In Burlington, I think it is.
Okay.
All right. Make sure you let me know if you're saying this is going to be one of those matches.
This will definitely be one of those matches because
I would not mind. I would not mind being there for that.
I've always wanted to get in the ring one-on-one and test myself against him. And I get that chance February 15th.
Then let me know, because I would love to be there for the match.
And then we're doing non-wrestling, but it's still pretty cool, I think. The next weekend, the 21st through the 23rd, I think it is, we're actually going to be volunteering at Mad Monster Party in Concord, which is a huge horror convention.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah, so like we're going to have
that.
Robert England's going to be there. Of course, Freddy Krueger. Jonathan Majors is going to be there, which is pretty cool. Played Kang. He played in Creed. Got who else? They just announced like Mira Sorvino, Brad Dourif, who talked. Yeah, right. Mira Sorvino is going to be there.
Wow.
Right. Brad Dourif, who is of course talked to Chucky. Him and his daughter are going to both be there.
She was in the Chucky TV show.
Yeah, Billy Zane, freaking the Mummy, the Phantom. Billy Zane's going to be there. Like
now,
wow,
that's awesome.
I constantly try to get into that show, Sean, so I was unable to get into that one. I am going to go ahead and mention, since you mentioned that show, Carolina Fear Fest in Raleigh, Memorial Day weekend, has announced Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder, yep.
Has announced the kid that played Andy in Chucky.
Okay.
the girl from Chucky 2,
Mhm.
and just announced, and Tino, you might like this one, William Cott from The Greatest American Hero.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the big 4 names that I've heard already, and I'm trying to get it because I'm already in that show. But
No.
I am trying to moderate a horror humor panel with at least one of those people. And right
William
now,
Cat.
yes, out of the horror humor category, it would probably be William Cott.
Yeah,
Comic Cat.
absolutely.
William Cat, whatever.
What was
I
he?
think,
What
I
was
think
he?
it is.
What horror was he in? I'm trying to remember.
So he was actually in the movie House, which had Bull from Night Court and him, and it was written and directed by Sean S. Cunningham, the same guy that created Friday the 13th.
13th, yeah.
And it was basically about a guy that buys a house that starts having memories of his Vietnam experience,
Mhm.
and it just causes like horror calamity through that.
Okay.
And then they did a second one called House,
Two.
the second story.
Yeah, wasn't that the one with the old man and the little caterpillar dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a big horror guy.
So it's a big horror fan. But I didn't mean to take away from the fact that you said Mad Monster because being in Mad Monster is massive, because that show has had Mick Foley, it's had Kane. I think The Undertaker has been to at least one of them. So like,
they've had Matt Hardy, we had Jerry Lawler, Sergeant Slaughter, like a bunch of those guys have been through there.
yeah. But that's a pretty big deal. So that's like late February, right?
Yeah, it's the last weekend of February. Yeah.
And do you have anything planned for WrestleMania weekend?
Not as far as wrestling. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know how that works. Like every time they announce where WrestleMania is going to be, whoever runs that area goes ahead and gets a bunch of buildings, and they have shows all through the week.
Mm-hmm.
Then other companies will go down there, like from other states, and have shows. I mean, it's just indie shows all week. And you can, if you get booked on those, you can get a lot of eyes on you. I did it once when it was in Jersey. I went and wrestled. Actually, I was in a match with tag match with Buff Bagwell and the Patriot.
Wow.
Yeah, Buff's a great guy.
Wow.
And we won the tag titles in that match too. That was pretty cool. But as far as Vegas, yeah, I've never been to Vegas. Like I would love to go.
Me neither.
But I don't foresee that happening unless something changes. I'm always open though. Like one of my biggest goals, you were talking about like goals for 2025. So I've never even flown an airplane. I'm 44 years old almost. Never been on an airplane. Right?
Wow.
And I want to fly on an airplane, but I want to be flown in somewhere to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like everywhere I go, I drive. Like I've been to Illinois and back, which is like, I don't know, 14 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is. And everywhere we go, we drive. Last year, I spent the majority of the year, well, I should say I did, but the family did basically, in West Virginia and Tennessee, back and forth every weekend. Like it was a lot of driving. And like I would like to fly. So I'll put it out here. I put it out before, but I'll put it out here too. If there's any promoters that are watching this that are willing to fly me in, I'll work your show for free.
Wow.
100%.
Well, if you get flown in, you're not working for free. Obviously, you're
No, right, agreed. But I'm telling you right now, you can take whatever fee you were going to pay me, put it towards that plane ticket. That's what I'm saying. Like that's how bad I want to do this.
And Tino, you know, you hear me talk about this all the time as a content creator. I say the same shit. Like you want to bring me somewhere, I don't charge a fee. Like if I bring books or whatever and I sign them, great, I can sell those books. But otherwise, if you're bringing me to sit there and sell your stuff, you know, like so locally. a local shop sits there, buys 100 copies of my book. I sit there and I sign as many copies as I can and let them sell those books. Speaking of which, Sean, I do want to go ahead and say that for those out there that don't already know, Sean Cruz here has given me visual licensing to his visage so that we can use it in a comic book that I have written and created the entire first issue for. And Sean, you've seen the entire first issue.
It's incredible.
And it is it's on the back burner right now, and I hate that because I don't let anything wait. I'm just trying to find the right way to make sure that you, me, Eric, and even the other person can really get out there. And for those that don't know, there's a actor pro wrestler that we use the visage of for the main character.
Is that the one that starts? Is that the comment that starts with the S that we talk about?
Yes.
Okay,
and
I don't want to say it. Okay.
So on the show we've talked about it. The book is called Stalker.
Okay. I didn't want
to. No. We've talked about it, and Sean knows that I want this book out there because babyface, heel, doesn't matter. Like at this point, everything I did in that book, I asked him, do I sound like I'm hitting the right notes? Do I sound like I'm actually writing it as if I did this for a career? Now, I've been in a pro wrestling ring, so I feel like sometimes I get to use that. But the truth is that, like, obviously, I've never taken a bump, never done anything like that, and I have said I would, but I really tried to make sure that I hit certain things properly, and Sean here, we used his visual image to make sure that we were driving it home that someone for real could actually make something out of this, and I'm hoping that by the end of 2025, this book finally hits market.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, it's just, me being a big comic book guy, when you actually told me you wanted to do that and you sent me the first issue, it's still, that's, even if it never gets published or seen, like, it's forever going to be something that's special to me.
Well, we even talked about the possibility of Sean taking on that character and launching that character brand so that way, not only is he in the comic, but then Sean is actually that character. And
we could probably do that at like the fantasy superhero cosplay like they have at GalaxyCon.
Maybe.
We could definitely do it there, if not like a full launch. I'm actually friends with one of the referees there, and I even sent stuff to them to say, like, hey, if you guys need somebody, like, I'd love to do that. I love comic books. I'm a wrestler, so they're supposed to be getting back with me. We'll see what happens there. And that's another thing, not to get on a different topic altogether, but now, like, when you're trying to get a job at a wrestling company or a spot, it's like a job interview. Like, you literally, they're wanting wrestling resumes and all this kind of stuff. And I'll be honest, like, when I started, nobody taught me that. Nobody still has taught me that. I don't know how to make a wrestling resume. And I don't know how impressed you're going to be by the fact that I've just wrestled a bunch of wrestling indie companies. And that's like when these guys all I can do is show my experience. I've been to this state and that state, and I've done this and I've done that. But, like, I've never been to the big show. I've never done extra work for WWE or anything. I mean, I was I helped out with TNA this time when they came to Fayetteville, and then helped out with Ring of Honor, I don't know, 8 years ago. But outside of that, like, I don't have any like wrestling credits. And it's like I got my promo pictures, I got my matches, I can do what you need me to do, whatever spots you need me in. But outside of that, see, in the older days, it was you get in the car, which still works sometimes. You get in the car, you ride to the show with your buddies or whoever, you help out. It's like, hey, I got my stuff with me if you need me, that kind of thing. You introduce yourself. But now it's like they want these wrestling resumes, and I'm like,
well, I mean, hopefully between you and me and my buddy Eric, who also has done work for Stevie Richards and some other people, we'll be able to sit there and get a book out there so that way, like maybe WrestleCade or something else, we get a table. We're all able to sit there. We're all able to sign in books, whatever. You're going to be on the broadcast of what they do, whatever the case might be. But that's the ultimate plan by the end of 2025, that we actually get Stonkered out there, at least the first issue, so that way people know what's coming up. And I know that you mentioned something, and we'll keep that just between you and me.
Yeah.
Not like who to talk to and whatever. But Tino and I are getting ready to talk about Royal Rumble. We're getting ready to talk about a little bit of Saturday night's main event, what happened this past weekend. We don't want to keep you here because I'm sure you got some workout regimen or something that you gotta get to. You obviously have Saturday night that you gotta worry about, so you're probably gonna
no worry
out on the farm.
There's no worry. I just gotta go out there and do what I say I'm gonna do. And that's the thing, is like, so many guys talk a big game, but they don't back it up. But this is the year. This is the year where I say what I'm saying, I say what I mean, and I go and do it.
Well, you let me know if you've got any merch ideas that you want. Like I said, I sent you just a couple today because I was like bored and I was sitting there going, my boy Sean Cruz has some good stuff already. I've seen the recent stuff. I am impressed. I am going to say that the Mikey Ruckus music, I remember actually had my artwork on
the cover. It still does. It's on iTunes, Spotify, like all that.
So anybody that downloads Sean's theme song, you will see that Sean Cruz drawing from me on there. And looks great, and the song is awesome.
And it's funny too, because it literally fits what direction I'm going now. And I actually shot a promo today. I hate calling them that, but it is what it is. Promotional video for the match for Saturday. And in said promotional video, I basically say the same thing about keep staring and looking in my eyes. And right as I'm saying it, because I got the song playing in the background, it plays that part. So it just kind of fit together. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's immensely talented. Fun story, that song is actually on the AEW video game too, an instrumental version of it.
And I love it. I love it. Even though I'm not a fan necessarily of the AEW video game, and I see Tino sitting there with his head down.
What? I got a PlayStation 5 recently. I bought it. I haven't even opened it yet. So like, I don't know. I heard it was kind of like No Mercy, so that got me excited. But then it's like,
Now I'm going to throw this out there at you, Sean. You're 12 years later than when Tino and I showed up in a wrestling video game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were in WWE 12 when you go to Over the Limit and you actually watching Over the Limit. There is a white guy wearing a CM Punk shirt. That guy's sitting right next to him, and it's me and Tino, and it literally is Over the Limit from March of 2012 when we were sitting second row, and it's up.
Very cool.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Anyways, Sean, thank you so much for being a part of the show. You are welcome back anytime. You already know that. Hopefully, you didn't feel like we were being too much of a like kiss ass or anything else during this.
I mean, if any ass is going to be kissed, it should be mine. mine deserves to be kissed. I think I've earned that right.
Fair enough. Tino, go ahead.
At least you guys are doing it publicly on a live podcast. I got guys in my inbox that'll blow me up. Oh, brother, I love your stuff. You look great. You this, you that. But we'll never do it publicly. There's just people like that. They'll see you in person in the one-on-one conversation, but it's almost like if they were to put a comment out there or share a post or say, hey, book Sean Cruz, they're afraid of what other people would think about them or something. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I do it all the time. I share I'll see a poster that I think's cool would be like, hey, people need to see this. It might be from another state. I'll share it on my Facebook. Because that's just what you should do. It ain't because it's like, oh, maybe if I share this, they'll book me. No, I ain't stupid. They ain't going to do that. But it's just courtesy, you know, and I don't get the same common courtesy that I give. So the days of giving are over. Like,
well, do me a favor. Make sure you give us the information for at least the Burlington show.
Yes.
Oh, I'll definitely give you guys the info.
That's close. That's close.
I'm saying that's close enough. I can be there. Make sure you got some merch in double XL, maybe triple XL for Tino.
These wonderful Keep Staring shirts. I'll show you the back too. I haven't seen it or not, but it's the. You see it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. I love it.
100% authentic Sean Cruz, man. That's who I am.
Which, by the way, is the front of the other shirt that you have, that red shirt, right?
Well, it's a little different. I think that one just says
100%
with the Sean Cruz, but now it's like people got confused. Like, well, you're 100% of yourself. Everybody's 100% of yourself. I'm like, okay, smart ass. I'm 100% authentic. Is that better? But everybody's always got something to say. You know?
I'm down. If you want something that we can get over the next couple weeks and actually get made beforehand, and you want us to have some of them, whatever, let me know. But Burlington is actually close enough to where we can be there.
Okay.
You know, if you can work some magic, get the show like closer to the front of the audience. You know,
maybe we'll see. I got a little bit of stroke, as we call it.
But I will buy the shirt.
Okay.
I'm sure Tino will buy the shirt. We might need a show spot for the Potsy and Tino show.
That could possibly be arranged as well. And then just so you know, from the rumors I've heard, this place is like I don't know if it's a bar, but it's like 21 and up. As far as the crowd, like you're allowed to say certain things on the microphone, and when you're in the ring that you wouldn't normally be able to say on family-friendly shows.
Woo!
I'll be honest with you.
Hey, you know, you have been very respectful of the audience here, but we are rated M for mature. You can say.
Well, you should have told me that. I cuss like a motherfucking sailor all the time.
So do we.
But you know, being media trained, I've learned to not as much, especially in 2025. Now you can't say certain things.
You never know. You never know.
That's why I'm running with High Calorie Human. That's gonna be my thing. You know how what's his name had Sweat Hogs? Was Perfect, right? Mr. Perfect, Sweat Hogs, or no, Rude. It was Rude. Rude. Yeah, my bad. God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Slap myself for that one. It's Rude. Sweat Hogs. Well, mine's gonna be High Calorie Humans. It's just a nicer way of saying the larger people.
Like it.
There you go.
So I'm going to have those shirts too. So if people want to be proud to be high calorie humans, they can sport it. I'm not mad.
Well, let me know.
I will take your money while I'm making fun of you. I do not care.
If you need something that helps you actually get it out there, let me know. I obviously play around with logo design, but Sean, thank you so much for being on the show. For those out there, once again, Laurinburg, North Carolina, February 1st. Sean will be out there, and we are pulling for him to win this championship opportunity because it's goddamn time that he sits there and gets that opportunity and he holds that strap over his shoulder and shows everybody what he's capable of.
Damn right.
All right. Brother, you can hang out with us if you want. We're gonna go through Saturday night's main event. We're gonna go through we're gonna go through Royal Rumble. But if you got other things, it's totally cool to drop out. We're cool either way.
Yeah, I got to go spend some time with the future Mrs. Cruz.
I hear that.
We got
I
engaged
understand.
actually on New Year's Eve.
Congratulations.
On a concert in front of about like 2,000 people. So that
What
was pretty
concert?
awesome. What's that?
What concert was it?
It was Diggable Planets. You know what it is?
Oh, sweet.
And Arrested Development.
Wow. Where's that one at?
Fayetteville. It was the
Damn,
New
I
Year's
missed
Eve
that.
thing. Every year, like one year they had like Tone. Like every year they had CNC Music Factory and
God.
all these different people. Yeah, they do it on New Year's Eve. It's outdoors. It's like an amphitheater type deal. Real cool. But yes,
That's
it's
awesome.
actually, I think it's pinned on my Facebook if you guys want to check that out.
I'm going to check that out, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, so we're getting married in April of 2026.
Congratulations.
So on top of doing all the, getting in shape and wrestling, now we've been doing wedding planning as well.
Well, if you need two people commentating the wedding,
she just said yes. Come here. She just said yes. She's all about it.
Hey, fellas.
There she is.
How are you?
How you doing? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It
That's
was
awesome.
a hard job to bag this one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Probably not. Nah.
No, you just make a little.
You two make awesome tag team partners.
What's that?
You two make awesome tag team partners.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I've body slammed him 6 times.
She has.
You know what? We
In
didn't
the
even
ring.
hear that. Hopefully the bed is reinforced.
In the ring. Oh.
Wow, Rob.
I guess we'll break it right here on your show. We're planning on doing a wedding reception wrestling show. So
Wow.
we're looking at putting something together.
Well, we could obviously do commentary for that.
That would be fantastic, actually.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I will put you guys in my books.
All right.
Oh, she's got a book. Let me tell you.
Hey, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right.
Do it right. Exactly.
Absolutely. Folks, thank you so much for being a part of our show this evening.
Thank you.
Once again, you are always you're both always welcome to be on the Potsy and Tino show. Like obviously, but you more than anything else, if you want to give us your updates of when you're going to be available, what you're available on, what shows you're doing, what championship matches you have coming up, because I'm assuming you're going to be a champion this year.
Oh, that's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say multiple champion.
Okay.
This is gonna be a whole different animal this year.
But yeah, you get to come on anytime you want. We're obviously here almost every Monday night. We missed 2 recently, which is funny because Tino, didn't I say last year that we missed like 1 the entire year?
And both of them were your fault.
This year, yes, they were my fault. But, last year it was his fault. It was for his 50th birthday. But
yeah.
But anyways, folks, you are more than welcome to be on anytime you want. Talk pro wrestling with us. Just talk about what's going on with you, whatever the case might be. But we will let you go so that way you can enjoy the rest of your evening. Tino and I still have to do Royal Rumble predictions.
Yeah, that's about it.
And yeah, we're cutting most of it out at this point now. So thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Take care.
Later, guys.
Later. All right, Tino.
Dude, that was damn near the whole show, but it was fun. I didn't mind it at all. That was awesome.
It was awesome. So, all right, first things first, we got to talk about this TNA WWE 5-year deal.
All right, hit me up real quick.
So, TNA and WWE announced over the last 2 weeks that they're going to be running a 5-year deal where broadcasting is going to happen between the 2 programs. And they immediately did it on TNA Genesis, the very first program that happened right afterwards, and a couple WWE people showed up, like Cora Jade against Masha Slamovich.
And TNE.
Did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I did.
Obviously, yeah. But Masha Slamovich, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, TNA, folks. It probably, never mind. But like I said, Cora Jade versus Masha Slamovich. At the same time, I do want to point out two things that happened since then. Joe Hendry became TNA World Champion. Pretty big deal over Nick Nemeth.
Yep.
And then on Thursday this week, he also defended on the very first TNA live event in 8 years.
Wow.
Against Matt Cardona.
Wow.
And surprisingly enough, John Layfield, who had shown up on WWE programming just this past week, showed up, hit Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona still ended up hitting Joe Hendry with the TNA Championship. Referee got up, 1-2 kick out. Joe Hendry ended up going for the big ending, or whatever he calls it, which is a massive choke slam, where he holds the guy up and then holds him there for another couple seconds, and then finally slams him down. 1, 2, 3. Matt Cardona has lost the match. Pretty surprising to see Matt Cardona as the first opponent, but knowing that he's not under contract with any major company, pretty cool to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
The deal between the two companies looks like it's mainly going to be between NXT and TNA.
Yeah.
There is rumor that as the deal gets closer to expiration, which would be 2029, 2030, there is possibility that WWE actually purchases TNA, depending on how they're doing in terms of money. The other side of it that I thought was really interesting, and you might not have heard it, Tino, is that there is the possibility that WWE right now is helping with international rights movements, trying to get TNA picked up by international TV companies. Here's why. WWE's international deal now is 100% through Netflix, right? Which means their wrestlers cannot show up on any other wrestling programs. So if WWE helps TNA get a show in the UK, Austria, India, Japan, any of that, if TNA is on those shows, then WWE wrestlers can show up on those shows.
Gotcha.
How crazy is that that's the mentality going on right now with this?
They're thinking big picture.
They are.
That's smart.
They are. So yeah, there's the main thing there. I would anticipate that you are going to see the interesting thing that I think, obviously we're all already talking about the possibility of TNA wrestlers showing up in the Royal Rumble. We anticipate that the women's champion will show up because she has for like the last 3 or 4 years. I do think Joe Hendry will be in the Royal Rumble. That is one of my picks for the two people that I'm going to say are like outsiders coming in. But yeah, it's a pretty big deal. But you got anything else you want to add to that? All right. Next up, Raw Netflix launch ratings. initial ratings when they came in, they were basically like, oh, only like 400,000 people actually watched it, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Okay? That might have been 400,000 people in the United States. By the time the numbers actually came in for the first week worth of Monday Night Raw, it was 5.7 million viewers.
Mm.
Now, in contrast, when Fox on broadcast television showed SmackDown for the very first time, it had 4.4 million viewers. So Raw on Netflix had 1.3 million viewers more. Now, granted, it was worldwide, but again, we also have to remember you get a 7-day window on all of that, which means it could have changed. People are still watching it now for the first time, whatever the case might be. Fact is that Netflix did that. 1.3 million more viewers than SmackDown's biggest episode on Fox.
Wow.
And people are talking about how, like, the following week was 3.9. Well, 3.9 is still almost the same amount of viewers that they had on the very first episode on SmackDown on Fox. Tino, I'm going to let you speak for a couple minutes. I'm going to be right back. I hate doing this, but I got to step away.
Oh, what am I going to talk about? Because what I want to
You
talk
could talk about this.
So yes,
I'll try to be back before you're done.
So this is what made me excited, because a lot of people were wondering where the storyline was going with Tony Storm, and I would say in the show you can see bits and pieces of Timeless from time to time in this new Tony Storm. One time she came out as Tony Storm, but she had the Marilyn Monroe, she had the Timeless haircut. One time she came out as Tony Storm and the lipstick was a little smeared. So I thought that they were going to do a hybrid of the old Tony and the timeless Tony. So when this Tony Storm came out Saturday on Collision to talk to Mariah May, and Mariah May put that beat down on Tony Storm, I knew something was going to happen. And I was like, is she going to beat her back into timeless Tony Storm? And she kind of did. She hit her, she knocked her down, she whipped her with the belt. She kept whipping her with the belt. She kicked her, she spit on her. She went to leave the ring, right? So they are got the camera on Mariah. They're not even looking at timeless Tony Storm or looking at Tony at this moment. Then all of a sudden, you hear Tony on the mic, and she comes up with this poem. And then she got up and she's like, the best performance is um being yourself. And I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? But when they went back to her, she took off the shirt. It was just in a bra. I'm like, here it comes, here it comes. She took off the pants, and there it was, the I guess they look like underwear with the fishnet, and it was Timeless Tony Storm. And the look on Mariah May's face, it was almost akin to when Triple H was in the ring and Mick Foley came out as time he came out. He's like, and he was mankind and said, I can't fight you. I can't, but I know somebody who can. And he ripped the shirt open to show the Cactus Jack shirt. That is kind of the reaction that Mariah May gave when Tony took everything off and was standing there and was saying, I'm timeless. And the look on Mariah's face, that's what it did. It took me back to that Triple H Mick Foley promo.
So she did state as it happened, and you might have to actually fill me in off air about some of this because I only saw what Tony Storm said as Mariah May was walking away.
So you didn't see what led up to it?
No, but
Oh,
but her sitting there ripping off the top, ripping off the bottoms, and her sitting there saying, "You may think that you are the ultimate bitch, but I gave birth to you, and I'm going to shove you up my womb. I'm going to
rip off
spit
your
you
tits.
out, and then I'm going to rip your fucking tits off."
It was awesome.
Like, and the line that she used to set it all up was, "They always tell you that the hardest role that you ever have to play is yourself."
Yourself.
And me coming from the outside, only seeing that part of the promo, I have to ask you, Tino. I have to ask you. It felt like, did they use it at the right time? Or did they need to wait until right before that Australian show?
That's in a couple of weeks. I think they timed it perfectly because this is the first time back at Daly's place, right?
It
So this
was.
is where
It was
this
from
is
Homecoming.
it's their homecoming, but then it also gives her time to build that timeless Tony Mariah thing they had going before
You look like you're rubbing
yeah.
something.
Shut up, pervert. If you know what I meant. They can bring that story full circle. So to give some time to bring it full circle because I think
Well,
Timeless is going to be the one to take that offer.
and that's, like, there's a couple things there that I gotta ask when it comes to AEW. Like they put this on Collision, right? Which they understand is a show that's not getting very good ratings right now. Did they do it as a way to sit there and go, "Don't miss Collision"? Did they do it as a way to sit there and say, "Hey, we're going to build this over the next couple episodes of Dynamite and Collision"? Like, what is their
Well,
what is their thought process?
I think they're going to do it to build over Collision and Dynamite because they did not. If they wanted to say, "Hey, you can't miss Collision," they would have announced Timeless Tony Storm, but they didn't. They announced Tony Storm and Mariah May face to face. So you would just think, "Oh, it's this Tony Storm." Da 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 da. You wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Well, will this change on Wednesday, where they go, "If you miss Collision, don't miss Collision going forward"?
I don't know
Like,
if they'll do that.
like
They probably won't have to because
well,
they hooked you on this one.
but that's the way that, like, television used to always be, right?
Yeah,
So
and they could.
that's like an 80s tactic of television, by the way. It's, "If you miss this Friday night, you missed blah blah blah." Look even back to WWE's old broadcasting of that. If it was like a Saturday night's main event, they wouldn't even show like the video packages from it. They would just show images.
True.
Remember?
And
Like,
they might do that. Now, they should do. That's what they should do
if
on
I were
Wednesday.
Tony Khan, I would only show images of her doing that. Although, obviously, the AEW Instagram account, Twitter account, and everything else
You can't
have
even get away with it
shown
nowadays.
the video of it, which means they really just got to show the video at this point. And I think that that's disappointing because I think if they had sat there and said, "This is what you missed," and just shown like the pictures of it, it might have gotten more people to look at A, the Instagram account, B, the Twitter account, C, like go back on Max and actually watch Collision, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that Tony Khan should think about going forward. Tony, if you're watching, free advice. We've obviously given some to Hunter in the past, and he's used it. So, but honestly, it was probably like from what I saw. So leading into it, what actually led to it?
So, they were doing the face to face. Mariah came and Tony came out. Mariah cut a promo. Tony did the whole "very nice to meet you. I'm big, your number one fan." Da 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 da. And at the end, she kind of went like this, and she hugged Mariah, and Mariah's like this. Then she smiled, and then she kind of stroked Tony's head, like oh. And then when Tony pulled away from the hug, Mariah just fucking clocked her and beat her down and took her belt off and whipped her with the title belt. Every time Tony would try to get up on her hands and knees, she'd hit her again and she spit on her. She hit her, she hit her, she hit her, she kicked her. She walked out the ring. That's what I was saying when you were gone. They were following her up the ramp, right? Then all of a sudden you hear Tony on the microphone, and she did that poem, that little poem she did. And then she stood up and then she said what you said, you playing yourself, blah, blah, blah. That's when she took off the jacket and the shirt and she's standing there. And then people started kind of cheering, right? And then when she pulled off those pants to show
Yeah. Okay,
and
that
kicked off the
from there,
shoes.
I know exactly what happened. Although Tony Storm got that Bojangles butt, like
Hey,
she loves eating them Bojangle biscuits. There ain't no
but
lie on that one.
but it's kind of like when she started hitting her with that belt, I'm like, is she gonna? And remember, I'd been saying all along, I was wondering how, because every once in a while,
Every once in a
Tony
while,
Storm would come out.
wearing the
She'd have the hair, she had the smeared makeup, right? So I was like, are they gonna kind of do a hybrid? But there's like, no, I think that was just that real Tony kind of peeking through and kind of giving you like, wink, wink, I'm still here, but I'm doing this. Maybe that's what they were doing.
So my only question to you now is it too soon?
No, I think they took that. I think they took they were starting to take the rookie thing a little too far. I think I don't think it's too soon. I think it's the right timing. Because when you think about it, well, that their wrestling in Australia was like the 13th or something like it's like 2 weeks. So I mean that's enough time to do that little switch over and then build up Timeless and Mariah.
My feelings here is that unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, it's one of the longer running AEW stories.
No, it's not.
What I mean though is that it's not very long running, but
Mm,
it is longer running since Tony Storm returned. And what was that, November?
I think so, yeah.
So I mean, it's 3 months. So yeah, it has been a longer running story than some of their other stories. And
No, it's not.
because,
How long's that Mox thing been going?
well, of course, you got to bring up the one that everybody hates.
But because it's dragging it out, it's so
Well, it is dragging it out because I don't think they know what to do with it yet. But
yeah.
we'll get there. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, I had it up. All right. We had, which I was surprised. Excuse me. They started out with a championship match, and then they started with the Rhea and Nia match. I think they did.
Well, the whole night was full of championship matches.
Yeah, and none changed hands. So yeah, the Rhea and Nia. They showed the $1 million man getting out that busted ass caddy. I'm like, you're a $1 million man. Why are you getting out that busted ass old ass caddy?
Well, did you
Anyway,
notice that the jacket that he was wearing was also like a cosplay version of the $1 Million
yeah.
Man? Yeah.
Is it because he couldn't fit in the original? I mean, I'm not being funny, but like, why couldn't they get some? You know what I mean? You could.
I think that he showed up and they said, "Hey, can you wear this?" And he was like, you know.
So the I mean
I'm
the
just glad
match.
Hogan didn't show up.
Oh, he claimed he had family. I think he knew not to show up.
Well,
I
to his credit, Brooke Hogan did just give birth to twins. So I'm going to give him that one.
okay. Really, I mean the pay per view. I'm not pay per view. The show was solid. You know, you had to get my. I think the match that I was most into was the Braun Strowman Jacob Fatu match because I've been saying keep your eye on Fatu. Fatu was the star of that bloodline. Yes, Solo was the leader. Fatu was the star of that bloodline. I think they get ready to start pushing this man.
Well, a couple things. They don't call it the bloodline anymore, if you notice, over the
No.
past 2
Yep.
weeks. It's
Yep.
no longer any mention of bloodline.
Yep.
Second thing is that it basically is the same thing they did with Bronson Reed before he went out with injury.
What do you mean?
All the main move, the finisher, constant, and then as you think he's done, he goes back out and he does it again. What I thought was really interesting was Tama Tonga, of all people, was the guy that actually stopped him from doing
Nobody
it
else could.
again for like a 6th time.
Because nobody else could control him. I think that's what they were trying to show that, he's unhinged.
Just weird though, because wasn't Tama Tonga supposed to be the unhinged one?
I think we found someone a little more unhinged than him.
My question now is going to be whether or not they actually are still with Solo Sikoa at all.
Mm. That's my question too. And what are we going to do with Solo now?
Well, we know he's not going to be part of like the Roman storyline, so I'm okay with that. So what's up next?
Oh, like I said, the rest of them are like, eh.
Sheamus versus Braun Breaker?
I was mad because I think Sheamus should have won that match and won that title.
So my biggest gripe with the entire show was that no titles changed hands. I know that it was a week before Royal Rumble, which means you don't necessarily want to mess with what's going on with the booking, right? My problem
I didn't expect them to change the major ones, but damn, let Sheamus have the damn Intercontinental.
well, except for the fact that like a lot of people started saying that Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship would have actually like really put into question certain other things. Like, for example, Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship. That allows Gunther to go against Bill Goldberg at like Elimination Chamber. No title on the line. Bill Goldberg gets to have his final match, right? They didn't do that. I don't know. Maybe they did tonight on Raw. I don't know. Number 2, if I were booking it, here's how I would have done it. You obviously had the contract signing between Kevin Owens and then Cody Rhodes at Saturday Night's Main Event, right? The ladder match at Royal Rumble. You have Jey Uso win the match. Sami Zayn comes down, starts holding his hand up and everything, and then kicks him in the nuts. What does that do? That suddenly makes you think, oh shit, Jey Uso has a new villain against him in Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn joins Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens could lose the match against Cody Rhodes, but Sami Zayn beats Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Then Kevin Owens sits there and says, now it's my turn to have the main event match against Jey Uso. You don't get any of that now. Now you're sitting there going, what the fuck are they doing with Gunther going forward through the and all I can think right now is John Cena loses the Royal Rumble. Whoever wins the Royal Rumble goes against Cody. John Cena wins Elimination Chamber and goes against Gunther. That way you get that Rocky IV feel of John Cena going against the unbeatable Russian, even though he's German.
But does he beat him?
I don't know. And in Triple H's regime, right now, the answer would be no. Which doesn't necessarily make me happy.
Mm.
So that's where I am with all that. All right. Ready to move on?
Yeah. Because it's almost 2 hours into this thing.
Or an hour and a half. No,
What's
you're
it?
right. 2 hours. All right. Rumble predictions. How about we start with KO versus Cody? Is there a world where you see KO beating Cody?
Yeah. It won't happen, but yeah. So
what do you anticipate?
I want to say Kevin because Cody's beat him twice already. I want to say Kevin gets this one.
I unfortunately think Cody wins this match because Randy Orton causes KO to lose. Not necessarily meaning that Randy Orton is Cody's friend going forward. Just saying that he wants revenge on Kevin Owens. So,
all right.
in the case. Next up,
DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. I think DIY keeps it.
I do too. Okay.
And then that's really, and then it's the Rumble matches.
There you go. Women's Rumble.
Well, we know Flair, Charlotte.
Hold on. Remember, you get 2 surprise entrants and the winner.
Becky Lynch comes back.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a debuting.
Jordan Grace is officially signed.
Yes, that's my Jordan Grace. Becky Lynch and Jordan Grace, who wins the Royal Rumble. Charlotte Flair.
Really?
Yeah, I hate to say it.
All right. I think Mickey James, again, is a surprise entrant.
That's one. You said 2 surprise entrants.
Yep. Now, if they're NXT, are they a surprise entrant?
No, I'll take it.
Roxanne Perez, who throws out Bailey, by the way. And then winner.
Hush. She's mad because she wants to go in the room with Nicole, and the door's closed.
God, your Charlotte Flair thing makes a lot more sense all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it though.
I didn't say I liked it.
Nia Jax is another good choice. There aren't a lot that you actually think have a good chance, right?
Mm-mm.
All right, I agree with you. Charlotte Flair.
Men's Royal Rumble.
Remember, you get 2 surprises.
I want to say Trick Williams,
Trick's a good choice.
and I want to say a returning Dragunov.
Ooh, I like one. All right, Joe Hendry,
Hmm.
Matt Cardona.
Okay. The winner, shit. Um, you know what? I'm gonna throw something crazy out. I'm gonna say L.A. Knight. You
Interesting.
wouldn't expect it.
Okay, I'll give you one other guess as to who ideally you think is going to win. How about that?
I would say LA Knight, or I would say you said John Cena to go to the chamber, but John Cena made it so I'm never gonna win. I'm never gonna da da da. I wouldn't be surprised to let Cena win this Royal Rumble.
They have already announced him for Elimination Chamber, though.
Fuck.
Doesn't mean he's wrestling.
It's either gonna be okay. LA Knight is my wild guess. If it's not Cena, then it's got to be Punk.
Okay.
It's got to be Punk.
Okay. Let's see. The world champions right now are Gunther and Cody, right? So, all right. So, Dark Horse.
Or Brock Lesnar could come and blow this whole shit up thing.
He really could.
Win the Royal Rumble, and that's how they get their Brock and Gunther match.
Although I think Gunther versus Cody is actually still on the boards too.
Okay.
Which means one of them has to lose. Oh,
Right?
it's not going to be Sami Zayn.
No.
I love him. I want him to win. It's not going to be Sami Zayn.
You know what?
He's already in a match, so he's not going to be.
But if Randy comes out and causes him to lose, what's to say he doesn't turn around and enter the Rumble? That's happened
Hell, I
before.
think Randy has a better chance of winning the Rumble in that situation. If I had to give a dark horse pick before I give my like, I expect this. And I know it probably sounds like less of a dark horse pick, but I'm going to say Drew McIntyre. So like your LA Knight, I say Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
The other pick, you said Cena for the actual win?
Cena or Punk?
I do think Punk. But I don't think Cody ends up having the title by then. So I don't think it's Cody versus Punk.
And I don't think it'll be Cody versus Gunther.
Well, what I'm saying, though, is I think that Cody could lose to KO, but then before Mania, lose to, like, Seth. And then you get Punk versus Seth.
You said Cody loses?
Yeah, I could see I could see Cody losing to KO.
Losing the belt.
Losing the belt.
Okay.
And then Seth beating KO.
There, that's the part I missed. Okay.
And then Seth versus Punk because Punk won the Rumble.
Yeah, Royal Rumble.
And by the way, if they were to do something like that.
Well, no, because then Punk and Seth would have to go unless they move that title, because that's a SmackDown title, unless they moved it to Raw.
Unless one of them moved over to SmackDown. Because remember, if Punk wins the Rumble, he gets to choose.
True.
If they trade Seth over to SmackDown and KO as that title, they could actually move Cody over to Raw in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
which could put Cody versus Gunther.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think that gives you the most likely best selling of those main events.
If you talking about Rocky, you talking about the American Nightmare against Gunther?
Yeah, well, dude, we've said forever that and by the way, that would be the match that Gunther as the World Heavyweight Champion would want.
Mm-hmm.
And if Cody loses to KO in a ladder match and then has to go into the Elimination Chamber to beat guys like John Cena to get the shot at Gunther, it would, I mean, it would mean it would make that match even bigger.
Yeah.
Because personally, I think as much as everyone's like, oh, it'd be really cool to see John Cena go for the world championship, I think at the beginning of John Cena's run, he's most likely going to go against people like Braun Breaker. Prove that he can win back the Intercontinental title, and then after he drops the Intercontinental title, sit there and go, I've proven I can do this. Now it's time for me at SummerSlam to win one of those matches. Like, I don't see him winning at WrestleMania, even though John Cena going for his 17th World Championship at WrestleMania probably would be the biggest way to get the most people's eyes on the program. I think that Cody versus Gunther and Seth versus Punk is probably even bigger. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely, yeah.
And that really, by the way, I just put that all together tonight, right now, while we're talking. Yeet, yeet, yeet. Sorry. But
Yeet, yeet, yeet.
I was going like this, so I might as well say yeet. But
Stupid. I think my favorite part
I
of
literally put that all together, and if I were booking WrestleMania for 2025, that's how I would book it.
Yeah. On side note, speaking of eating, I need them to keep Michael Cole off the camera when he's eating.
Leave Michael Cole alone. He's been there damn 30 years, man. He's almost like JR at this point.
Jesus Christ.
Hey,
I think I'm getting it. He's like, I think I'm getting it. And Pat McAfee's like, no, you're not.
Speaking of that, have I told you about me and my buddy Ross? Or Russ?
No.
My buddy Russ. I hung out with him at the North Carolina convention in November, right? He's a big toy collector, toy seller guy. Well, randomly, I sat there and I just said something like, in a really bad Jesse Ventura impression, I said something like, well, you know, when I was back in Tonga, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, so now he sends me messages. And the two of us send messages back and forth. But I've now gone to the point where I'm now sending messages as Randy Savage. I'm sending messages as Jim Ross. He's still sending Jesse Ventura messages where he's like, you know, when I was a frogman in Tonga.
Your Jesse sounds like you're Stone Cold.
I know, I can't help it, but it's so the only thing that I've got going for me when it comes to a Jesse Ventura impression is the nomenclature, the way that I say it. It doesn't sound like the same speech pattern that a Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, because Stone Cold Steve Austin gotta sit there and talk like this. But Jesse Ventura, when I'm talking about this in Tonga, there's like a difference in the way it's said. So even though they sound exactly the same, and I agree, there is a difference in the tonal values of it.
All right.
Anyways, Tino, I watched a new show this week, and we're getting ready to hop off here. It was on right after the AFC Championship game on CBS. It was Watson.
Now that
Starring
Marsh Chestnut. Don't. I haven't watched it yet, and I got a DVR.
all I'll say about it, and this won't ruin anything for you, is that the previews actually say he's not just a doctor, he's a detective.
Okay.
The end of the very first episode gives away something. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily like who it is or who they play.
Okay.
Other than that, I really like the fact that it feels like House mixed with like SVU.
Okay.
It feels really good. And Morris Chestnut, like, as an actor, why isn't he in more shit?
I don't know. He was big back in the 90s and stuff. And he
But
kinda
was he
fell off.
big, or did he just have big movies, like 4 or 5 of them?
Yeah, that's true too.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, I've been watching one other show, and I'm going to hop off after this. Been watching one other show. Came out in 2002 to 2007. All 6 seasons are available on Amazon. It's called The Dead Zone. Have you ever watched it?
Yeah.
With Anthony
Is
Michael
it
Hall.
is it new or are you watching the old ones?
I'm watching the old ones.
Okay.
I love the fact that I was able to watch the first 4 seasons for free. Hate the fact that the 5th season is on there to buy, and then the 6th season is free. What the fuck are they thinking?
What platform?
Amazon.
That's why.
That shit pisses me off, man. Like, I am literally sitting there watching the first 4 seasons, and I go, okay, time to start season 5. And it goes, it randomly just starts another show. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I go back on there, I look, and it's got the little purchase icon for season 5. So I just said, fuck it, and started watching season 6. Because season 6 is free as well. Who the fuck waits
The whole
4
season.
seasons to make you buy season 5 to then give you season 6 for free, which is the final season?
That's funny.
Garbage. Anyways, Tino,
Yeah.
I'm done, sir. Hey, by the way, thanks for coming back. We're back. We're having a great time. Hopefully you enjoyed Sean Cruz being on this week.
I did. But I'm ready to get off now. I'm tired.
I am too. So, go ahead.
You can reach me on Blue Sky. You can find me on the Instagram at Tino. I can't even remember Blue Sky handle. You can find me on the TikTok Tino All Great Music. You can find us on X. We're Potsy and Tino. Facebook's Potsy and Tino Show. We're going to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for our theme song, the wrestling song, which you can get for 99 cents on iTunes. 99 Jones.
And I guess I am on what was Twitter at Potchak. I'm on Blue Sky, Rob Potsy Potchak, I believe.
I didn't find them.
Yeah, it could just be Rob Potchak on that one. Rob Potsy Potchak on just about everything else. So TikTok, one of the Instagrams. And then, of course, just Rob Pochak on YouTube. Please give us a like for tonight's episode. I thought it was great. I thought we did some awesome stuff. Thank you to everyone out there like Michael Turner, Mr. Helios, and everybody, and StreamYard, who apparently posted to our thing. We'll be back next week. I don't see any reason why we won't be. If we won't, follow our Facebook page. I'll make sure that I post on it within 4 hours to let everybody know that we won't be on. But otherwise, folks, thank you so much. It was a blast. And if you get a chance to see Sean Cruz wrestle, please do. This weekend in Spartanburg, North Carolina, he will be in a battle royal. And then after that, like he mentioned, he's got 2 or 3 matches set up, scheduled for the rest of the month. And from there, I believe we are ready to go. And with that, I'm going to give us the Motor City Machine Guns. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Tino G, Blue Sky. That's social. I looked it up.
Ready? Motor City Machine Guns and Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.